many of us today are caregivers. And what I mean by that, many of us are caring for our parents. Of course, we're caring for our own families. And in some cases, we're caring for our kids' families too, all while working full time. Well, our next guest says, you know what that creates? That creates caregiver burnout. Joining me this morning is Jennifer FitzPatrick. She's a healthcare expert, speaker, and best-selling author of Cruising Through Caregiving, Reducing the Stress of Caring for Your Loved Ones. You are a welcome sight this morning, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us on Sonoran Living.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Terry.
Let's talk about caregiver burnout. I think we know what it is, but given the situation that many of us find ourselves in, how can it possibly be prevented?
Well, for one, you never want to do it by yourself. You as a family caregiver, whether it's for your parents, whether for a spouse, you want to have what I call a caregiving crew. You want to have more than just you. And a lot of people really don't subscribe to that. They think that they should be able to do it all. And they're really reluctant to ask for help.
Yeah.
So be open.
Because we think we can do it all as women. That's our thing, right?
Right. And most caregivers, like you said, are women, and they think, well, I've got a job, I've got the kids, I'm juggling everything. But being open to having help is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So so asking for help is okay. That's the right thing to do. But then I also mentioned many of us are working full time too. So how do we find that healthy balance so that we do care for ourselves? There's work, there's life, there's marriage.
Well, I think one great resource for a lot of companies is your EAP, your Employee Assistance Program. A lot of people don't go to HR to get that service, and there are so many resources that they can provide to help you. So that's, for one, a really good resource to go to. But if you, for some reason, don't have that option, you maybe talk to your local area agency on aging. Every single county and city in the country has one. And if you go to N as in Nancy, 4a.org, you can find where yours is, n4a.org. So that is a great place to start, to just get resources that can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if our employer doesn't have some of those options available, should we be asking them for help or some sort of assistance or flexibility? Because that's what so many people are looking for today because of being caregivers.
Yeah, and just be transparent and don't give them every story. They don't need to hear everything that's going on with your loved one that's sick, but be transparent and let them know that this is something that you're dealing with. And you might be really surprised. Your boss might be going through it himself or herself, and they probably will have more empathy than you might expect. And even the younger generation, 25% of all caregivers are even millennials now. So even if your boss is on the younger side, don't assume that they're not going to understand. Mm-hmm. But right now, with the job market being the way it is, if you don't have a caregiver-friendly workplace, it might be time to look for a different job.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people are doing exactly that. So what about a tip on just caring for yourself? What would be your best piece of advice on the caregiver has to care for themselves?
Sleep is really, make sleep a priority. Do at least one thing for yourself every day, whether it's reading a book, whether it's getting to the gym, exercising, and because you have nothing to give your job or your loved one if you're completely burned out. Yeah. The other thing I want to remind everybody is when someone tells you that they're worried about you or that you look tired, if it's somebody that really cares about you, take them seriously. That's a sign that you need to start really looking out for yourself.
Yeah, it does. It takes a family. It really does. And it's so important to support each other. Jennifer, thank you so much. Really good tips, really good advice. We appreciate you. And of course, I have Jennifer's information so you can find all of those local resources on our website, sonoranliving.org.